So the reason why I wanted you to meet our team of volunteers and board members today is that as we come out of the pandemic with many folks wanting to create, hopefully, new direction for their lives in the coming year, Encore PBC has designated 2021 as a year in which we will focus on purpose and vision. We will do what we can to help people find their direction, whether it is in new work or volunteer opportunities. For the past 8 months, we have produced programs on those topics online weekly, and we will continue to do so going forward. So just a few words about our beginnings. 5 years ago, we created Encore PBC, Palm Beach County, to promote the idea that there were thousands of people over 50 in Palm Beach County, and many retiring here, that had an enormous reservoir of skills, talent, and experience that should be tapped into as volunteers for nonprofits working to solve the problems in our communities. We also believed, based on many research studies, that staying engaged in community as volunteers is important to healthy aging on the other side. As we held meetings, and that was up until the beginning of this year, we found many people coming to us looking for work. And while we had been focused on volunteer opportunities, we decided we needed to do something about that. It is common knowledge that people over 50 have difficulties in finding new work, particularly since the Great Recession, and that has been exacerbated since the pandemic. Our first effort to help was to gather on our website all the resources we could identify that could help people find work and then refer them to those resources. We also encouraged nonprofits to post their volunteer opportunities on our website and attempted to match people we met to those opportunities that were right for them. The pandemic has disrupted our ability to connect with people personally, but fortunately, Zoom technology has enabled us to continue reaching out to them. And the board members, our board members, are all involved in developing our programs and activities to fill that need. I want to introduce you to our board members and have them share with you why they are involved with Encore Palm Beach County and what they do to help. And let me begin with Karen Roberts, who is a human relations professional. Karen, tell us a bit about yourself, why you're active with Encore Palm Beach County.
Thank you, Rosemary, and good afternoon to everybody. Thank you for spending a part of your day with us and wanting to learn a little bit more about Encore Palm Beach County. As Rosemary said, first of all, she's a very persuasive woman. If you meet her, you are immediately taken in by the cause and the importance of the work that we're doing. So you can't really say no once you meet Rosemary, but you don't really want to say no because she is working for something so important for all of us. And obviously it has to do with opportunities for 50 plus folks to be able to explore, to get a new career, to volunteer, to start a business, to do whatever one might want to do. And there is such an opportunity here to get people involved and to have them become more engaged in their community. So I became involved because at that time I worked at the Area Agency on Aging, and Rosemary came to present about Encore Palm Beach County. I was fascinated about it. As a mature person myself and a mature worker, the organization and what they're about, it resonates with me very strongly. And so before I knew it, I was involved in doing some event planning, and we actually decided, I have a wonderful committee, and some of my committee members are on the call today. So thank you for being here. We have a committee engaged and involved in working on kicking off what we hope is something that will become an annual event. And it is called Wisdom and Experience Works for Business. And we had a kickoff of this event recently. It was in January of 2020. And it was very exciting to let the community know about this award, let businesses know about the wonderfulness of having mature workers and all the benefits of the intergenerational workforce, and that we were going to have this award. And then, of course, we all know what happened after March of last year. And so now we have rescheduled for this October. We hope to have an in-person event, but of course it's going to be safe, and we're going to do what is appropriate for that time. But the event is a kickoff breakfast. A breakfast rather, and the point of it is to recognize and reward and give kudos to those businesses who do take an active role in recruiting, retaining, motivating, engaging, and celebrating mature workers. And there's many ways organizations can do this in ways that support all workers. So it is not one over another. It is the inclusion and the inclusiveness, but recognizing the value that mature workers bring to their organizations. So as I said, I have a wonderful committee helping me on that. We're going to be doing some events this year that you'll be hearing about that will help us build excitement and hopefully build excitement, get companies involved, wanting to participate, wanting to be nominated, wanting there to be involved in this very wonderful endeavor, and to help us spread the word. We're going to be having events throughout the next few months. So I think in reading my notes from Rosemary, since going first, I want to be sure not to miss anything, why I'm active, what I'm working on, and if there's any questions you may have, Rosemary, I'll defer to you if you want questions as we go or at the end. But thank you all very much for being here. We appreciate your interest.
Okay, thank you, Karen. Karen has been a wonderful partner for Encore Palm Beach County. I'd next like to introduce Marilyn Bieber. Marilyn is on the staff of Nonprofits First. And Marilyn, would you tell us a bit about yourself and why you're involved with Encore?
Sure, it'd be my pleasure. And thank you for having this wonderful panel, and I'm proud to be a part of it. My story, I'm kind of the classic client who would come to Encore. I moved to Florida from California in actually the late 90s, single mother with a daughter working in the radio industry. About a year and a half after I moved here, the radio group that I worked for sold. I reinvented myself, and in 2008, the job that I had kind of bottomed out. By the time the economy recovered, I really had a difficult time finding a job. So I spent about the next 10 years self-employed, underemployed, really struggling until kind of a fortuitous evening when I told a friend of mine, I'm going to start a nonprofit that helps people find jobs, older adults find jobs. So I went to the meeting. As it turned out, somebody followed up with me, and there was a position on the Encore website that was a really good fit. That's where I am now. So it's made a really big difference in my life. You know, I'm active because I kind of felt a debt of gratitude. I started out working with Rosemary doing some grant writing. And as I did that, I became much more educated about really what the problem is. It goes way beyond people not being able to find jobs. It impacts mental health, quality of life. And I really am a part of it because I think that in order to affect any kind of change, it's going to take real tenacity and fearlessness. And I think that those are qualities that I have. And I'd really like to make a difference because this is a situation that every generation who follows ours will encounter. It's not going to go away. Technology is going to continue to replace jobs, and we continue to live longer thanks to advances in medicine. So where I really see myself making a contribution is in working with the team. I'm working with Karen on the event. I see myself as talking to potential donors, giving us the power to extend our voice, reach more people. And where I'd really like to see Encore go in the future, I think that was one of your questions, Rosemary, is I'd like to become more of a programmatic organization where, you know, I think the first thing that has to happen is that as mature workers, I would like to say, is that we really have to be on our game. We really have to think about our skills and staying relevant in the workplace to begin with. We need to be educating employers as to the benefits of engaging mature workers and retaining mature workers as part of the workforce. I think that also has to go to local government because age discrimination, let's face it, it exists, but there's really very little being done about it. So we really need to expand that narrative, and we really need to change, you know, the kind of the perception of mature workers. So I have been a volunteer. I've been asked to be on the board, and it is my pleasure to be continuing to work with Encore.
Thank you, Marilyn. Your passion for the problem and the opportunity really comes across. Thanks again. Next, I'd like to ask Bill Morse, who is our treasurer, to say a few words. Bill is kind of behind the scenes. He handles all the paperwork and paying bills and so forth and so on. But I must credit Bill with really getting me engaged with the Delray Chamber of Commerce, of which he had been, I think, president of the board at one time, very active in the chamber. And Encore Palm Beach County is a member of the Delray Chamber of Commerce, as well as the Boca Raton and Boynton Chambers of Commerce. And we're also members of Nonprofits First and maybe some other things that I'm not thinking of at the moment. But Bill, would you share with us why you're engaged with Encore Palm Beach County and been helping us now for low on to 4 years, I think?
I was part of the original group that met at the Chamber of Commerce I think it was once a month. I don't remember now, it's so long ago. Yeah, I'm behind the scenes. I'm an accountant here in Delray. I'm a member of the chamber. I was not president of the board. I was chairman of the ambassadors working. I did spend one term on the board of directors of the chamber. Right now, besides being on this board, I'm also on the board of the Delray Beach Library, again, being the treasurer. Since I'm an accountant, I guess that's what they figure it's best for me
Your
to
destiny.
do. That's right. I got involved in Encore because I live in an over 55 community, which I'm sure most of you do, and I see what goes on and how people, I hate to say the word, deteriorate without being active. And I force myself, maybe I'm too active. I'm also chairman of the landscape committee, for example, here in my development, and having my own accounting practice. And the other two things with being treasurer of two organizations. But I feel it's very important for mature adults, that's a good way to put it, to be active, and that's why I'm really involved. And I know I don't come to all the meetings because I'm so busy sometimes. But Encore I have found to be an excellent organization.
Thank you, Bill. I appreciate it, and particularly when you write those checks. While much of our focus, because of the urgency of the issue, has been on helping people find work and find ways to help people find work, we have not lost our focus on our belief in the need for mature adults to volunteer to help their communities, to stay busy, to stay engaged in life. And so I want to ask Joni Cherbo to tell us about what it is that she is doing to help people connect with volunteer opportunities and why she's involved with Encore. Joni?
Am I unmuted? Yeah. Thank you very much for the opportunity, Rosemary, both to be a board member and to be involved in so many of your wonderful programs. I moved to Florida about 2.5 years ago, not quite a half. And before I came, I got trained. I'm a sociologist by training, but I became very much aware of the issues of ageism, that it was one of the new isms coming up that was gaining a lot of attention. I read Mark Freeman's work, and then I actually sat through a 3-day seminar, symposium with Paul Irving on ageism. He's from the University of California, the head of the institute there. And I was really quite taken by the fact of how much longer we're living, what we're doing with our lives, what we're not doing with our lives in this cohort, and how much not-for-profits that I had actually originated and run one can do to help in civil society, and how much the need is for older people to get involved, motivated, and engaged in helping this country, this world. When I came here, the head of the Encore National introduced me to Rosemary. I contacted her and we met for coffee, and she co-opted me. As Karen said, she's very seductive and very forceful. And there I was, and I was very happy to be brought in. And what I am doing now, I think initially we wanted to set up some awareness lectures at FAU with Paul and others. And we were accepted there. Enter the coronavirus, everything went on hold. So in the meantime, Christine Catoggio and I got together and decided that we really wanted to do some workshops on volunteerism to see whether we could understand what people wanted to do, to find their interest, to see if we could motivate them to reach out to certain organizations in the community, to understand how to reach out, to understand feedback, and so forth. So we have set up a workshop on volunteerism, 5 weeks with homework and feedback. It's a coaching kind of enterprise, as well as a self-realization enterprise that will start the end of February and go through March. So that is my current involvement with Encore. I'm looking forward to it and hope we can bring something significant to the organization.
Thank you, Joni. And Joni is an example of the kind of people who are in fact moving to Palm Beach County and the talent that we do need to tap into. So I look forward to Joni's work. That will be in our newsletter. You'll receive, if you're on our email list, you'll receive information about signing up for that. A longtime faithful member of the board of Encore Palm Beach County, almost from the beginning. I think she got in touch with me because she read a newspaper article about Encore. And I'd like to ask Toby Loskove, who is a retired educator and I think you worked for a personnel placement agency at one time, Toby.
Mm-hmm.
Would you share with us why you're active with Encore, what you're working on, what your interest is?
Okay, thank you. Welcome, everybody. My pleasure to be able to say a few words and visit with you. My area of expertise, so to speak, is career transitions. And many of us have had to reinvent ourselves because things didn't quite work out the way we thought they would. Previously, I worked as a career management consultant. However, my initial area was education, where I have a master's degree in that. So I'm one of these people who really is a born teacher. And in my other areas, I really helped people by helping them practice the job readiness skills needed to go out and promote themselves. And that's a very difficult thing for most of us, to sit there and talk about ourselves. Most recently, we are starting a book review group, which our first meeting will be the end of January. And we're talking about the book Unretirement by Chris Farrell. It is available in the library. You can get it out. And it really talks so much about what we're talking about, purpose and vision. How do you accomplish these things? And most of us have had ups and downs, but we don't give up. We move along, we try other things. There are new beginnings. We all want to be productive. So using some of my skills and reading the book, we're talking about how baby boomers or even people a little older can move forward and try different things. We have to update our resumes. We have to practice our interviewing skills. We have to be able to talk about what's important, and that includes even negotiating a salary. So I hope you'll take this opportunity and join us when we do this book review, or read the book, or we'll just discuss how you, me, all of us can do things, can use our experience to move forward. I think Encore is a great organization because we all want to be productive. We all want to have a purpose and a vision. So thank you for being here today and being a part of our group.
And thank you, Toby. Appreciate it. I think you're already seeing that we have a very diverse group of people that bring their talents and interests to Encore. So I'm going to move on to another example of that with Linda Shaifer. Linda, are you there?
Unmute here. There we go.
However, my initial area was education, where I have a master's degree in that. So I'm one of these people who really is a born teacher. And in my other areas, I really helped people by helping them practice the job readiness skills needed to go out and promote themselves. And that's a very difficult thing for most of us, to sit there and talk about ourselves. Most recently, we are starting a book review group, which our first meeting will be the end of January. And we're talking about the book Unretirement by Chris Farrell. It is available in the library. You can get it out. And it really talks so much about what we're talking about, purpose and vision. How do you accomplish these things? And most of us have had ups and downs, but we don't give up. We move along, we try other things. There are new beginnings. We all want to be productive. So using some of my skills and reading the book, we're talking about how baby boomers or even people a little older can move forward and try different things. We have to update our resumes. We have to practice our interviewing skills. We have to be able to talk about what's important, and that includes even negotiating a salary. So I hope you'll take this opportunity and join us when we do this book review or read the book, or we'll just discuss how you, me, all of us can do things, can use our experience to move forward. I think Encore is a great organization because we all want to be productive. We all want to have a purpose and a vision. So thank you for being here today and being a part of our group.
And thank you, Toby. Appreciate it. I think you're already seeing that we have a very diverse group of people that bring their talents and interests to Encore. So I'm going to move on to another example of that with Linda Shaifer. Linda, are you there?
Let's unmute here. There we go.
Okay. Linda has had a diverse career, and maybe she'll share a little bit about that with us. So tell us not only about yourself, Linda, but why you're involved with Encore and what you hope to be working on with us for the coming year.
Great. Well, thank you all for being involved today, and we hope that you'll see that this organization has such value. You know, I think I'm in the age group, obviously, of all of our all the people we're trying to help. But I joined through Karen Roberts. She introduced me to the group a while ago, and I think you'll all agree that Rosemary Nixon has an amazing conviction and dedication to the cause. But more importantly, she's driven to help everybody find their purpose. And I think that's what's such a benefit to this organization, you know, to be involved, stay connected. I've gone through many things. As Marilyn had mentioned, I was also a single mother, moved down here from Philadelphia 30 years ago, and have always, since I was 13, have always, you know, worked and volunteered. I've worked in sports marketing, golf, and healthcare, and I've worked for quite a few charities. So I see the importance of people, you know, working with people, more mature people also, helping them find that purpose and stay connected. And so I've really enjoyed being involved and being able to feel like you're helping to contribute no matter what age you are. But I think that Encore does such a great job of educating us or re-educating us or finding different ways to do things. I mean, as you know, everything that can change will. So whether it's the times we're going through now or what it is, it's just something that's, I think, very important that we understand that, and that we feel that we're still very important to whoever it is who's fortunate enough to have all of you involved. And so I've been really fortunate also with Encore. Rosemary's been great to let us try things and run with them. One of the things we're introducing and we're going to enhance this year is our membership campaign. You know, obviously, as a charity and nonprofit, we are striving to raise funds, but most importantly, we want to get a group of people like all of you who are on today. We want you all to join and to be a part of our team and to be a part of that change going forward. And we're not only changing a lot of corporations' minds about, you know, the importance of people over 50 working there, but we're also have to be an example of us also changing our mindset too and enhancing it and growing. So I think that this is a way for everybody to join the team. And so that's something. And of course, I've been really fortunate looking forward to working with Karen and Marilyn and others on the different, you know, the event that we have coming up series. So really excited about that. But thank you all for being a part of this. You know, it's a great organization. And thank you, Rosemary, for just being that never-ending, you know, force for change. So thank you.
Oh, well, thank you, Linda. Very well said. And I look forward to working with you further this year. early on, very early on. I think it was at an alumni event. Sometimes I can't even remember where I've met people. But our next board member is Tom Donahue. And Tom and I are both alums of Northeastern University. And I guess that probably would be where we met. So Tom, tell us a little bit more about yourself, why you're involved with Encore, what you hope to accomplish, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Thank you, Rosemary, and thank you all for joining us today. I'm originally from Boston, been down here in Delray Beach for 17 great years, working for a prominent civil engineering consulting firm in the South Florida area. And as Rosemary mentioned, in all my time down here, I've been the leader of the South Florida chapter of the Northeastern University Alumni Association. That's where I met Rosemary. And as you've heard from everybody else, that's where she started reeling me in. And I connected with it, the concept of Encore very easily because getting to know our retired and semi-retired alumni down here, they've all had great careers, great accomplishments. They weren't winding down to retirement. They certainly have plenty of time for their golf and tennis and card games and travel and all that. But it was clear that they also wanted to continue to contribute to the community and to society in some manner, whichever they choose. And that was the connection that really drew me into Encore. So it's been a great experience. This small group has accomplished a lot in advancing the programs and goals of Encore over the last 4 years with a purely volunteer board and extremely little funding. So I would encourage you all, we need to continue to grow the presence and the visibility of Encore Palm Beach County throughout the county. So I would encourage you all to please stay in touch with us, get involved, help us out in whatever manner you can. So thank you all for joining us today.
So I should just say that Tom is our, whenever anything needs to be done, I ask Tom to do it, and he does, whatever it is, whether it's bringing the wine or moving the chairs around in a meeting or taking minutes or what have you. And because I want to make sure that Tom didn't say this, but because I want to make sure we're staying open to new ways of doing what we're doing, I have asked Tom to review what other Encore programs around the country are doing, because other people may have a better idea of how to do what we're trying to do. So we try to stay open to new ideas, new ways of doing things. So thank you, Tom, as someone who's always there, really. And now I come to my stalwart. You know, in every organization, there's one person that you always kind of end up leaning on. And for me, that's Christine Catoggio. Christine and I have spent hours setting up meetings, meetup groups, moving the chairs around, bringing the refreshments, and so forth and so on. Christine is a life transitions coach. She'll tell you a little bit more about that. But Christine, if you would be the next speaker on why you're involved with Encore, how you got connected, what it is you're working on, and where you would like to see things go.
Thank you, Rosemary. Thank you. And I do apologize for the service interruptus. It seems my computer decided to do an update as I jumped into Zoom earlier. So, but here we are. And as Rosemary knows, we're very good at jumping into, fixing things and and what's the next possible thing. So thank you. And I really enjoy being part of Encore for so many reasons that everyone has already said. But one of the main things too is that, Rosemary is more than just the founder of Encore. She's our fearless leader in so many ways. She's a mentor to all of us. And so I really do want to give kudos to Rosemary as well, because Encore would not be what it is if it wasn't for her fabulous organization, staying on top of us. I mean, she makes us accountable. And so we're not just floundering, we really have her guidance and support throughout everything. And I think that's what makes Encore what it is. So thank you, Rosemary, and thank you to the great team, because I love working with every one of you. And, I realized as I was thinking about what I wanted to say today, I realized I have always had a service mindset. And I was a Rotarian for a number of years. I'm vice president of my Seroptimus Club. I've done so many things, and I was laughing to myself because I remember even as a young mom, when my kids were in nursery school, I started a PTA because the nursery school was in a church and we needed funding. And so I started a PTA and started having Tupperware parties and different things to raise funds for the school. And I realized that has always been kind of what I've done. I've always seen the need and did whatever I could to fill the need. And I think that's a huge part of Encore. In other words, we see the need. Rosemary saw the need and then gathered all the resources and the right people for the right skills to be able to work to fill the need. And as a life transition strategist and a midlife redesign mentor, I think the big piece for me is that, with my clients and my age, I aligned with the need. And so I saw firsthand the gap in the resources and opportunities that are available in our demographic. And I saw how Encore's purpose, mission, and vision, of which I was a part of from the very beginning, really does fit a need in society today, not just in Palm Beach County, but everywhere. There is so much that we need to services and different things that the 50 plus, the boomers really need, because people do not know where to go for a lot of what they need to finish off their life or their next chapter of life. To find purpose and fulfillment. And so I think, we go well beyond the work opportunities. We have a community, and a community who gets the demographic, because we're all part of it. So I think, as Encore progresses more and more in the programs that we're developing and coming up with, I really see that we really do have a huge purpose to fulfill here. And I'm hoping that as we continue to grow, more people will be able to benefit from what we offer and be able to get on board with us, because we do have, so much that we can offer. So currently I'm working on the volunteerism program with Joni, as she mentioned, and pretty much, I jump in whenever Rosemary needs something, as she mentioned, but my forte really is the organizing and coordinating of the events, which I love doing, and it's some of my background. And I think, sharing a common vision is really what brings us all together and makes us a very cohesive organization. And Rosemary has managed to, bring us the right people together who all kind of have their space in the organization and bring their expertise. And I think that's really what what helps us and will help us moving forward. One of the things I recently spoke about with Rosemary was what I would like to see moving forward is more of a collaboration of employers and recruiters and HR people and different people in the employment segment somehow, and collaborating with them and educating them on the needs and the value, and as our upcoming event, the wisdom and experience of the 50 plus. So, and I think we're, with our plans for 2021, we're definitely on that road. Thank you.
Thank you, Christine. Very well said. I should point out at this time that, like Christine, who has her own coaching business, Bill, who's an accountant, Marilyn, who works for Nonprofits First. Many of our board members have their own businesses, coaching practices, and jobs that they hold in addition to being active with Encore. So I certainly appreciate the time and the talents that they share with us. And just to touch on one thing that Christine mentioned about collaboration, if there's anything that I'm big on is always looking for people, organizations, institutions to connect with and collaborate with. And Karen and I had a very exciting meeting yesterday with a gal who's head of the business development program at Nova Southeastern University, talking about our wisdom and experience event. And that's the thing, I guess, if I were to describe my job description for Encore, I'm the connector. I focus on how can I help our group connect with other people who can help us do what we're trying to do. Thank you all for speaking. I do want to mention also, although she's not here with us, another very valuable volunteer for us is Susan Siegel, who works full time and can't be with us today, but she is the gal who manages our website and all our email communications, which means she's doing something all the time. Everything you get from us, Susan makes that happen. On our website, there's a page called that you connect to right from our homepage on volunteering. And there are a large number of organizations that have posted volunteer positions. Many of them are not up to date because many nonprofits are not able to have people work in person right now as volunteers. That doesn't mean that they don't need help. The other organization that we work with is the Council of Nonprofits that is part of the Delray Chamber of Commerce. So we have connections with probably another 70 nonprofits working in the Boca, Delray, and Boynton area if someone is looking for a volunteer opportunity. Another program that we're connected to as part of our membership with Nonprofits First, there is Nonprofits First, and I don't know whether Marilyn would want to say something more about this, but they have created a new website called Nonprofits First Cares. And on that website, there are numerous nonprofits who have posted their need for volunteers and support, some of which are virtual volunteer opportunities, which can be handled at a distance until the pandemic situation is over. So we are connected with, and also on our page on our website, There are links to other volunteer job boards, such as the United Way's job board, volunteer match, and so forth and so on. Personally, I am a big believer in helping people find the volunteer opportunity that's right for them. In order for volunteerism to be successful for both the nonprofit and the individual, it has to be a match. Everybody has to get their needs met through that. And so I'm a big believer in helping people find their match to a volunteer opportunity. It's been hard because we're not meeting people in person, but there are so many needs and so many opportunities that if somebody stood in front of me today, I could find the right volunteer opportunity for them. And that is what Joni and Christine are going to be focusing on in their workshops, is helping people figure out what they want for themselves and how they find it and can be happy with the volunteer opportunity they connect with. So I think I've answered that question.